All right, this might be taking it just a bit too far. Some state legislators in Oklahoma want to impeach President Obama over his threats to cut federal funding from public schools across the country if the schools don't implement gender-neutral bathrooms. I get it. Obama's directive is a dictate. It's blackmail. It is. But is this an impeachable offense? My next guest says yes. Take a look.
Oklahoma's conservative government is not responding well to President Obama's recommendations for allowing transgender students the right to use any bathroom they choose. Oklahoma's lawmakers have called for an impeachment of the president, saying he has overstepped his constitutional authority. The state is set to propose a measure on Friday that will allow students to claim a religious right to have separate bathrooms, allowing transgender students to be segregated.
Joining me now is Oklahoma State Representative John Bennett. Representative Bennett, thanks for being here.
You're definitely welcome. Thanks for having me.
All right, tell me about this. Why start impeachment proceedings here?
Well, this, in addition to everything else that Obama has done, it's just the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, somebody has to stand up and say something or do something. He's just been running around doing whatever he wants to do for all these years he's been in office, and nobody seems to be holding him accountable.
Right, I agree with that, sir, but it doesn't seem to me to be the most practical way to get this done, because realistically, it's not going to work. Realistically, we're not going to impeach Obama, so isn't it just a waste of your time, a waste of other Oklahoma legislators' time to try to do this?
No, not at all, because our constituents are demanding that something be done, and somebody has to speak up for them. We're just basically relaying how they're feeling and what they're telling us. Is the federal government going to impeach Obama? Probably not. But you know what it does do? It brings light to the situation, everything else that's going on, and it inspires the citizens to stand up and say enough is enough and tell someone in the federal delegation to do something.
All right, you mentioned your constituents, sir, and that's a good point I think you made, standing up, making your voices heard, inspiring the citizens of the country not to take abuse from the federal government. What kind of support have you been receiving for this proposition, both within the state legislature but also your constituents? Are people supportive?
Oh, it's wildly popular in the legislature here as well as the constituency here. Now, I've gotten a lot of hate email and phone calls, but almost every single one of them have been outside of the state of Oklahoma, which is expected, and that's okay. They have that right to voice their opinion on how they feel. But overwhelmingly, and the people that I represent here in the state of Oklahoma, they're inspired by it, and they want something done.
All right, talk to me about this separate measure that you're introducing, or that you're set to introduce, to allow students to use separate bathrooms if they cite religious reasons, or just if they want to avoid transgender users. Do you expect that to pass?
Yes, absolutely, I do. It's already passed out of the Senate committee, and it's be in the House committee today, and no doubt it will pass. And it'll go to both floors of the Senate and the House, and it will pass. And then it'll be up to the governor if she signs it or if she vetoes it. And then, of course, it'll be up to us to take whatever action is necessary after that point. But basically, it just protects the right of the child or the parents of the children if they say, hey, I've got a problem with my little girl changing or taking a shower or using a bathroom with a male that thinks that they are a female. And if that does happen, then the school has to provide them separate and equal facilities so that their religious rights aren't trumped.
Sure. All right, so basically this is assuming that your state will be forced to comply with Obama's directive here. Do you expect Oklahoma to adhere to this, or will there be some sort of rebellion within the public school system?
No, well, there have been some schools that I've been told that have already started to implement something similar to what Obama has directed. And that's all it was a guidance letter from Obama, which, according to our state attorney general and the attorney generals from 2 other states, is completely illegal, and it just basically is bullying. I've sent a letter to all of the school districts in my district that I represent with a copy of the Attorney General's letter, basically saying you do not have to obey by this directive. But in the meantime, within our own state, we're also going to pass this state law to protect the parents and kids in our schools in case those schools decide to go ahead and use the Obama's directive or guidance letter as a way to go ahead and implement these bathrooms in their schools.
Right, and on that issue, you and I agree, sir. I do think Obama's directive is a dictate. It's blackmail. It's just like you said, it's bullying from the federal government. This should be a state issue. This should be decided by localities, by cities, by state governments, not dictated by the federal government for what fits best for each particular state. And I think he's overstepping his bound, even if there's no legality attached to that. He certainly meant it to seem like that to the states. Representative Bennett, it was great to talk to you. Thanks for being here, sir. Up next,